Merry Christmas. I want to talk to you today about joy. And I know 2020, the strange year, has been very painful for a lot of people, and some of you are in very deep pain, I know. And I don't talk about this glibly. This has been a time of a lot of pain for me and a lot of people that I love. And yet, the angel said, I bring you good news of great joy, which will be to all people. So, Merry Christmas. And I want to start there. Do you ever wonder why we say Merry Christmas? Everything else is happy. Happy birthday, happy Halloween, happy New Year's. Why do we say Merry Christmas? Well, there actually is a reason for this. Those two words, happy and merry, although they overlap, have a little different connotation. Happy has to do with an emotional condition. We feel happy. Merry has a little more of a behavioral dimension to it. We make merry. And Christmas was a season for people to make merry, often in quite a raucous way, feasting and dancing and games and Yule logs and singing and so on. And merry sometimes has a connotation that's a little bit not terribly elitist. In fact, in the UK, the royalty would tend to wish subjects happy Christmas. That's sometimes used over there. Brits are a little uncomfortable with the nature of merrymaking. In the Christmas Carol, at the end of it, when Scrooge has seen the light, Bob Cratchit comes into the office and he's late. And Scrooge was hoping to catch him at this and ask him what's going on. And Bob Cratchit says, I was making rather merry yesterday. And Scrooge says, well, I won't stand for it anymore. Therefore, I'm going to raise your salary. Bob Cratchit is stunned. Merry Christmas, Bob, he says. A merrier Christmas than I have offered you in many, many a year. And I will raise your salary, and I will assist your family. And it goes on to say, old Scrooge was better than his word. And the Tiny Tim who did not die, he was like a second father. And in all that old city, there was not a better friend or a better master or a better man. Merry Christmas. Now, for many, many eras of the church, the Christmas season has been a time of great celebration, of great merry-making, because we live in a world that's so radically unsuited to joy. As you all know, the Advent season begins on the fourth Sunday before Christmas. And we remember what happened in Bethlehem, and we look forward to what will happen when he comes again. And we welcome him into our hearts day after day, all through Advent. But then that wasn't the end of it. Christmas Day was actually the beginning of what in many traditions have been known as the 12 days of Christmas. The most irritating Christmas song of all time, personal opinion, because it just never ends on the whole way through. Well, it's merrymaking. Ladies dancing and lords a leaping. You can't not be joyful if you're a lord and you're a leaping. Pipers piping and drummers drumming. And all of this would lead up to, on that 12th day, on January 6th, what was called the Epiphany, the Feast of the Epiphany. Now, the Epiphany is the manifestation of God, and what was remembered then, what was celebrated then, was the manifestation of God in the person of Jesus to the Magi, because the Magi, the wise men, we three kings of Orient, they're kind of the kings of joy. The story of the coming of Jesus is filled with joy. I was getting ready for today, at all the mentions of joy in this story. And from the beginning, when the angel comes to old Zechariah and tells him he's going to be the father of a son, and he says, this son will be a joy and delight to you. That's a little bonus to Zechariah. It didn't have to be the case, and many people will rejoice in him. And then Elizabeth finds out that she is pregnant, and she rejoices. Her disgrace has been taken away. And then Zechariah rejoices and blesses, overflows in a great song to God. And then when John the Baptist is born, we're told that the neighbors share in Elizabeth's joy. What good neighbors they must have been. And then when Mary comes to visit, we're told that little fetal John the Baptist leaps for joy in his mother's womb. That's how much joy Jesus brings. And Mary, in this unforgettable song, cries out, my soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. And then when an angel comes to shepherds in the field and they're afraid, the angel says, don't be afraid, for I bring you good news of great joy that shall be to all the people, you in pain, you in darkness, you and me, great joy to us. For to you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And old Simeon, who's been waiting his whole life for this moment, he blesses God and cries out in praise. And the old widow Anna, who has been waiting all this time, rejoices in thanksgiving to God. All through this story, Jesus is bringing joy to people, but maybe most of all to the Magi, to the wise men. When they see the star, we're told in Matthew chapter 2, verse 10, they rejoice. Not just they feel happy, they celebrate, they make merry. And it doesn't stop there. They rejoice with joy. What else are you going to rejoice with? They don't only do it, they feel it. Not just with joy, with great joy. Like not just a little bit. And not just with great joy, with exceedingly great joy. This is an aberrant amount of joy. Why? Why are they so happy? Well, they don't belong in this story. They're Gentiles, they're pagans, they're from the East, Persia, Babylon, maybe, and they're magi. Now that's a bad word generally in the Bible. They were like astrologers. It's translated actually sorcerers in Acts chapter 8, Acts chapter 13. That's a way of trying to manipulate the supernatural realm without recognizing this personal God who demands us to obey, to care for justice and righteousness and virtue and so that was very discouraged. But God in his grace says, hey, everybody's welcome now. The Magi come and they're overjoyed. And when they see the child, they bow down. That means not just they bend the knee, they fall on their face. They're doing something with their bodies. And they worship him. And they open up their treasure and they give him their gifts. So now your word for today is you don't wait to feel happy. You make merry. Merry Christmas. You rejoice. There's a fabulous passage in this book, A Serious Call to a Devout and Holy Life by named William Law. And chapter 15, quite brilliant. He talks about how when you're praying, when you're having devotions with God, you should always start by singing. And I know that's going to sound strange. In that day, of course, there were no iPods, no digitized music. If you were going to be around music, you had to make it. And part of what he talks about here goes way beyond singing. It's recognizing, as he puts it, that God has created our soul and our bodies in a unique way to impact each other. And so when we have a spirit of joy, it tends to be reflected in our behavior. But also, when we engage in joy-filled behavior, it impacts our spirit. And so we are called to make merry, to open ourselves up to the joy that God brings to us in Jesus. He says sometimes people say, but I don't have a good voice, so I should be excused from singing. He says, well, some people are not very good at practicing reason, but nobody asked to be excused from rationality because of that. So today, your word is Merry Christmas. Don't wait to feel happy, even in the darkness. You make merry. Wear things that you love to wear today. This shirt used to belong to my dad. Doesn't fit all that great, but it makes me happy to wear it because I think of the one who wore it before me. Eat food today that you love to wear. Do you not love the food of Christmas? Listen to music today that you love to listen to. I love Christmas music. Be with people today that you love to be with. And whoever you're with, look them in the eye and seek to bring joy to them. Play games, decorate. Don't take yourself and your life and your little agenda so seriously. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. And give gifts. Open up your treasures. Came home from the store this week and been going through lots of paper for the series, writing stuff down, and all I could get was some white paper that I didn't like. I love yellow legal pads. And the next day when I came home, my wife had gone out and bought 2 yellow legal pads for me. It just made me happy, just a little gift. I was getting a cup of coffee someplace, and the woman that was working there couldn't operate the screen. And finally, in frustration, she said, just go ahead and take it. And first I thought, oh, free coffee, that's good. And I thought, oh, I could just leave a great big tip in this jar, make her happy. I was talking to a friend today who's got a lot of financial resources and was saying, man, I keep trying to give it away. And everything I've given away this year, God has given it all back. So I'm going to have to give it away all over again. Today, do not wait to be happy. Today, make merry. I'm going to start you out with this. I'm making a fool for you. I know that. Don't tell anybody. Don't send this to anybody. But here we go. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive our King. Merry Christmas.